5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hello, everyone, and welcome to Vivid Voices Season 2, whereby we will be focusing on a series of topics focused on glow up journey. Now, in today's episode, we will be looking into the topic titled Work-Life Balance, Myth or Reality. I'm Terence, your moderator for today, and I'm here to guide you through this engaging discussion. Our goal today is to delve deep into the concept of work-life balance and empower you, our listeners, to define what balance means in your own lives. Now, we have two very incredible speakers with us today. First of all, we have our first speaker, Francis Devin Nyoro. Now, Francis is a banking service manager with Public Bank Berhad. He loves to play Pokemon trading card game and he likes to join CrossFit workout with the local community here in Limbang, Sarawak. Now, a hidden talent that he shared with me was he can dance. Next, we have our second speaker for today, Hanan Al-Fakih, teacher for kids with special needs in Majlis School. Now, Majlis, I understand, stands for Modern Arabic Generation International School. Now, Hanan likes to take walks with no purpose. She loves watching movies and attend concerts. And her talent is handling and dealing with children. Uh-huh. So both our speakers bring diverse perspectives and experiences to this topic this evening. So let's start by getting to know what work-life balance means to them, shall we? So let's start off with Francis. Could you share with us your personal definition of work-life balance?
All right. Thank you very much, Terence. And hi, everyone. My name is Francis Devin Nyoro. I'm a banking services manager, as what Terence had just mentioned. So, work-life balance, what it is to me. So, work-life balance is actually an equilibrium of time and energy that we dedicate to our work and personal life. This equilibrium doesn't mean that it's a 50-50 effort that you put into both work and personal life, but it's actually a harmonious integration between both sides of the world. Like a coin here in my hand. All right, as you can see, one side shows work while the other shows life. And without any of the sides present, if one of it is absent, the coin would not actually spin smoothly. This is the harmony that can be found in the coin as well as in our life. All right, to share to all of you on what is work-life balance, especially in my life, like what I just mentioned, I'm a banking services manager, and my role is to manage the frontline department of my branch in Limbang. So what I do is I would actually conduct human management as well as business outline and performance, and also recreational activities alongside with my branch manager. Other than that, I am also a Pokemon card game enthusiast. So I'm also a community leader in one of the Pokemon shop in Kuching, Sarawak, which is located at the east side of Malaysia. All right. So I do enjoy this card game because it actually promotes emotional boost to me. Because as you can understand, work is not easy. Work will introduce stress. Then one way to actually uh, reduce those stress is to conduct or to play along with activities or hobbies that could reduce it. All right. So one of the things that I did for Pokemon, for example, would to actually visit local shops, not only in Kuching, Sarawak, not only in Malaysia, but also in Brunei. So as you can see, both sides of my life, both work and hobbies, or you can say personal life, are both integral part of my life, where both sides promotes a harmonious integration for a happiness in my life, as well as a more satisfied job satisfaction. Not only that, I'm also a dancer in which I also actually perform as well as compete professionally. Before this, back in COVID-19, before COVID-19 actually happens, I do participate in a crew where we actually compete in other states of Malaysia as well. And what we do is we actually perform modern dance. So modern dance is actually a mixture of both hip hop, or perhaps if you have heard breaking dance, all right, as what you can see in the Olympics currently. All right. And perhaps if you heard about girl style or K-pop, for example, I believe a lot of youngsters here could actually resonate more to K-pop. So these are the things that we did together. All right. So all of this actually creates the character Francis currently right now. Without any of these, without the harmonious integration of both personal life as well as work, Francis here would not be here. I will not share to you my story here. Other than that, I also am part of a workout community back in Limbang. All right, as what Terence has just mentioned. I'm a CrossFit enthusiast. Okay. So what I did is every Wednesday we will gather together. I'm also one of the instructor actually. So we gather together and then we do some workouts together by carrying weights. And then uh, we also do some uh, endurance activities to promote a more well-being lifestyle in Limbang here. Other than that, I'm also a Spartan racer. I'm a participant of Spartan race before, back in 2022, together with a few friends of mine back in Kuching. All right. So because of all of these activities, I actually love doing a lot of these kind of activities back in my days, because these are the ways that we can reduce stress, as what I just mentioned. So these are my definition of work-life balance. It is not entirely 50 to 50 or an equal cut of a pie. It is an harmonious integration where what is more important is how you would actually be happy. That's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Francis. And how about Hanan? Tell us, what does work-life balance mean to you?
All right. Actually, I'm agree a bit with Francis. It's not 50-50. So when I think of work-life balance, this is how I think of it. So we have work, the professional aspect of our life, and we have our life. Our life including different of aspect in our life that we need to fulfill and work on them. We need to give all these aspects the same attention and effort and time. It shouldn't be same amount like Francis said 50-50, but we give them some effort, attention, and time. Uh, Usually, when I find someone who's burned out because of work and they cannot achieve the work life balance, I recall the psychological theory of the five basic needs for human being. It's a theory for a Glasser that focus on the five basic needs, which is power, love and belonging, survivor, freedom, and fun. Yes, fun is one of the five basic needs for us. And actually, if we look to the five needs, we will find that maybe power is the only one that directly belong to our professional aspect or our work. So when we lost this balance, we miss fulfilling the other needs that give us the harmony in life and support us to achieve the best level of mental health. So let's take Survivor, for example. Survivor, yes, include having house, security, safety, food, water, and all these things. But under Survivor needs, we also include the physical health. So if we don't exercise, if we don't give some time to prepare a good healthy food, and we just keep eating every day from outside, anything, and to just throw inside our body and our stomach, like if we are a garbage, it will not help us at the end. Another aspect is love and belonging. And I personally experienced that actually. I Love and belonging, of course, it covers the relationship, friendship, the need of having a group and community where you belong to and communicate frequently with. So I remember the time I used to take my laptop and my notes during the weekend and find place to finish some papers, and I felt burned out at the end, and I stopped because of that, because I physically felt tired. But I remember when I shared that in a group with a friend, my brother was sitting with us, and once I thought, well, this year I will not work on the weekend, he came out and said, I was angry from you when you was doing that, because there's time I need to speak with you. There's time I want to have fun with you, but you are busy. You're always busy during the work days and during the weekend. So when I shall speak and spend time with my sister, and goes also to the other needs. Actually, fun is not something we take it just for pleasure, like if we find time we do it. No, actually we need to schedule time to have fun, to relax, to chat, to watch Netflix. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. To relax, actually. uh, this is how I see actually work life balance. It's about looking to your life as a whole. Work is one of them, and try to fulfill the need of all aspect of your life, and try to work on them and give them your power and your attention. The other thing is, I believe if we lost the balance between work and life, that's mean we have something wrong with how we prioritize our life. That's mean we put the professional and the career number one. And actually, it shouldn't be number one. Ourselves should be number one. Our family and relationship should be number two. Then the career, maybe it come as number three. We usually notice that when the person put work and professional number one or two, here we face anxiety disorder. Here we face stress and burnout. These, the top three things that we prioritize in our life is very important. Never put your job as number one. Then you will lose lots of things, including your health and your mental health and physical. So this is my opinion about work-life balance and how I define it. Back to you, Tracy.
Thank you, Hanan. Yeah, I can just relate the same way how I used to take work outside of the office and how friends and family members used to comment, why are you always so busy? I can relate to that. And I do agree as well. We do have to focus more on ourselves first before we proceed on taking care of the others that we love. Well, anyway, we had some fantastic insights, and we do understand there needs to be some harmony in between both. Now let's dive
a little bit deeper with something more thought-provoking. So I'd like to start with Francis again. Could you describe some challenges that you have faced in balancing work and life?
Thank you, Terence. Well, I do have, I do face actually quite a number of challenges before. When I first started working back in 2019, there were a few challenges. One of them would be the excessive workload that was being provided to us. And as you may know, I'm working in a bank, and my schedule of working would actually be between 8:30 till 5:30. And that's the only time that you can work, because as a banker, we cannot bring any documents back home because those documents are private and confidential. So it's a no-no for anyone to bring it back home. All right. So the excessive workload actually play a part where if our manager or perhaps our colleagues are not able to complete certain tasks, they'll pass it to us. Then when we are not able to finish it up, we have no choice but to take overtime, OT. And another thing that uh, challenged me as well would be the cultural expectation of the people. Uh, Back in my time when I was still in Kuching, one of the things that is very apparent would be you are not allowed to go back early. Say that work finishes at 5:30, everyone cannot leave at 5:30. Everyone have to leave by 6, 7, 8 p.m. All right. Because of these kind of things, because of the culture that has been created in the organization, it actually hinder all of us to have a better work-life balance. But because of this, and because of we have no choice but to thank perhaps COVID-19 in this case, it opens up people's mind to realize that work is not a priority anymore. Life is a priority now. So that's why nowadays, most of us, including myself, we set a time limit. All right, this time I will be going back and I have this time to work it out myself. So yes, work culture is very important. And these are the challenges that I face up till this day. Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Francis. I do agree that culture does play a role somehow in this. And I'd like to check with Hanan as well. Same question for you. What are your experiences or challenges in balancing work-life balance?
Yeah, for me, the challenges is always related to the my boss and my supervisor, because how they work is affect you directly. Actually, I most of the time I had a boss who is workaholic, and I don't want to be workaholic because I saw the effect of this habit on them. Believe me, I had a text from my boss just few hours before she delivered her baby. And just a few hours after she delivered her baby, she texted us again, giving us some point or orders for finishing the work and discussing some problems. I was to tell her, please turn off your phone and have the rest. Why you text us at such time? And because of her, uh, because the way she work, I cannot set some boundaries. Or I actually, it's challenging to set boundaries with such boss and a supervisor. Like, what should I tell her? I have to sleep early. She texts me after delivering a baby. How come? So this is quite challenging to let your supervisor and boss understand that you need to have this balance to continue in a job, to be really productive. You need to achieve this balance. But yeah, this is really, really challenging for me.
My goodness, I remember the time as well when my wife was on the bed giving birth and I was still responding to texts in my company and we had to make a very important decision. They were desperate to get an answer from me at that time. So thanks for sharing that. Now let's take a moment to hear from our audience here. Can any one of you here share a time when you felt that you have lost that work-life balance? Do you feel the same challenges here? How about, can I ask Philip? Would you like to share?
Thank you, Terence. Back in 2019, when I started my first job in construction. So actually, I was 2 years after 2019, is 2021. Okay, all of my seniors was resigned. They resigned, and the all the workload was given to me. So I have to look after the works for a road construction of 42 kilometer stretch. All the bridges, all the roads quantities I have to measure on my own. And then I started to lose the work-life balance because when the consultants say, I want this job to be completed, the measurement to be completed on Friday. So when he said that on Wednesday, I have to make sure that everything is done within those 2 days. So sometimes I have to go to the office, started work at like 5:30 a.m. and all the way to 9 p.m. So it was quite tough for me, but I can say I still have a life balance because after all that uh hard works on the weekdays, I will go out and spend time with my friends, maybe going out. I went out for cyclings, for maybe going to the mountain trekking. Yeah, that's how I find my work-life balance. Okay, thank you.
Oh, thanks, Philip. And uh, Faisal, it seems like you can relate to this similar situation. Perhaps you have something to share about challenges.
Well, I think for me, mostly during the COVID time, because prior to COVID, I worked a 9 to 5 job, or rather 9 to 6, and going to the office every day, yeah, taking the bus, 1 hour on the bus, then going to work and working till 6, and then going home, taking the bus for another 1 hour. But working in the office, at least there's some form of balance because you only work when you're in the office, when you're out of once you're at home, you stop answering calls, you don't respond to emails. But when actually COVID comes, everyone transitioned to remote working. The notion of actually working 9 to 6 is no longer there, and everyone was just keep on working +6 because yeah, the fact that you're at home, uh, your boss will assume that okay, you are available to answer emails, you're available to answer chats anytime of the day, anytime, 24/7. So the work balance will be upset in that sense. But my opinion is that it's actually good to have a mix of both. So uh, while working remotely gives you the opportunity to actually work from home, you don't have to actually commute. Uh, but having some some form of balance whereby you go to the office, you spend some time in the office, would be actually good to have. Yeah, that's uh, briefly my opinion on this matter. Back to you, Terence.
Oh, thank you, Faisal. And it's quite true. We do have some expectations from our company that we are always available 24/7, which brings me to my next thought, whereby I like to bring the question to Hanan. Now, we've heard about how technology plays a part in affecting our work-life balance. So is this true?
I think yes, it's true. Like the technology sometimes make me feel I'm working 24 hours. Like we have the WhatsApp platform that for meeting, for sending job reports. At the same time, keep in touch with your friends, keep in touch with your family. So it's like in the same time, you while you are chatting with your friends, because I'm living abroad, so I use WhatsApp for for everything to keep in touch with everyone. So I'm talking with my friends or my brother, and suddenly my boss sent me something, and thanks God we can't hide that we are online. So I take the advantage of that. But you are you are working uh, anytime because of technology. Anytime you have to be active, send report, sometimes attend meetings because of technology. So our supervisor feel like there's no excuses for not working on weekends. So we set meeting on weekends. We use Zoom. You don't need to come to job. We use Zoom and Microsoft or Google Meeting. So yeah, I feel like technology make us working the whole time and take from us the privilege to have a rest for a while.
Right. Thanks, Hannah. Yes, I trust that in this part of the world that we are in, this side of the world, WhatsApp is widely used. And even myself, I've switched my status to invisible nowadays. And so I'd also like to check with Francis. Francis, are you affected by technology when it comes to balancing your work and life?
I would say yes, but to a degree. Because the things that I'm doing, especially in my workplace, is a very traditional way of doing things. Because I'm working in a bank, and most of my work would be in the office. So I do not have any work to be done outside of the office, except if I need to contact customers or customer need to contact I myself. So there are times where when we are having our own annual leave and we are not in the branch, for example, customers or perhaps our colleagues even will come and text us and ask us, are you free to answer my question? Or rather, they will not ask you, are you free to actually answer my question? They will actually bombard you with questions. Then you decide whether they want to answer or not. So these are just the limitations of what we are having in the bank, for example. And perhaps now, when the bank that I'm in, public bank, Berhad, are now slowly integrating themselves with technology. Now our work is getting more and more simple, per se, because one of the things that we are having is an app for staff to actually check their work schedule, their meetings. They can even take leave through their phones. So you do not need to go and apply back in the office or whenever you are. You can actually just take out your phone, just apply from there. As long as it's not an emergency leave, it's okay. So just take an annual leave at any time you want, and boom. I myself, as a manager, I could actually just approve from my phone as well. So it's now technology is actually quite easy in terms of this kind of work. So at least it doesn't affect much on my work-life balance. So I can say I pretty much have a very happy work-life balance right now. That's all from me.
Yes, thanks, Francis. And I believe it also depends on the industry we work in. Like, for example, for you, you're dealing with lots of customers, and like it or not, we most of the time have to follow our customers' time. And but there has to be certain limits to this, right? And we would like to touch something on setting boundaries. I'd like to check with Hanan. Do you set boundaries to maintain a healthy work-life balance?
Hmm. Uh, okay, as I said, this is quite challenging, but I, I try. I do my best to set some boundaries. If it's quite hard with my supervisor and my boss. At least I set these boundaries with my colleagues and I make it clear for them. Like, if you text me after 5 p.m., no, I will not answer. If you text me in the weekend, probably I will not answer. Uh, this is the problem also with the setting boundaries sometimes in workplace. The colleagues feel like they are in competition with each other. So who's going to work more and finish more jobs? And you see your colleagues is facing like maybe I have a colleague who I can say she's going through depression because of her job. And for someone who knows the symptoms of depression, it's easy to recognize that. At the end, she quit. She gave up. She stopped working and she left her job. But yeah, we had a lot of arguing together. Like after job, don't ask me to do something. We can do it next day in the morning, Kashi. We can. It's not a rush. And the boss just maybe sent you a message to remind you not to do it right now. So yeah, sometimes we need to take our choice and let everyone else take their choice and take the responsibility of it and just set the boundaries as much as we can.
Yes, I do agree. And it's rather unfortunate that your colleague had to leave her job. And setting boundaries is quite important, and we have to set it clear as well. So, Francis, what say you about setting boundaries in your workplace?
I do agree with Hanan that setting boundaries is actually quite important. For myself, I do set my boundaries, especially on the time that we actually finish our job. For example, every Wednesday or every Monday, I would have to go to the local gym here for a CrossFit activity. So rather than actually telling everyone, okay, guys, I have to work with you guys until like 7 or 8 p.m. because I'm also in charge of locking up the whole office. So instead of waiting for everyone to lock up at 7 or 8, I would actually inform everyone, guys, everyone, let's all go back by 5:30 because I need to go to the gym by 6 for CrossFit exercise, for example. All right. So because this CrossFit exercise is very important for myself to have a more healthy physical attributes of myself, that's when I put up a boundary for everyone else as well. Letting everyone know, communicate with them the importance of setting up this boundary is very uh, vital for myself. Not only this, because everyone has to go back early, because everyone also has their own life outside of work. Because I do know people, I do know colleagues that actually dedicate their 100% of their time, 24 hours if possible, to their job and do not want to go back. But sadly, some people are not lucky to go back home by the end of the day, because some people would actually contracted illnesses, because like what I said, working can actually contribute more stress to you. So more stress could actually contribute more illnesses to you. So that's when I myself, as a banking services manager, I have to play a role to set a boundary for everyone, not only for myself, but for the good needs of everyone here. All right. So that's all for me.
Right. And we've been listening, I think, for the past how many minutes that I believe most of us here have overworked ourselves. And Francis even mentioned how some colleagues have given their 100% to their company. And I would like to pose this question to Francis first, since you mentioned. Uh, do you think our do you think our culture over glorifies hustling? And if so, how does this affect your work-life balance?
Okay, Terence, I'm really glad that you actually asked me this question. I was a workaholic or a hustler, as you can say, because I do have a motto back in my pre-university when I was studying in Unimas. in Kuching. All right. So I do have a motto, actually two, if I'm not mistaken. One is work hard, play hard, and another is as long as you are breathing, that is where you are working. All right. So I actually have this kind of mindset back in the days because I do plan out. All right. So I have to work. I have to hustle harder because I need to create a legacy for myself. A legacy doesn't mean that all of the work that I'm doing right now, I can pass it on to the next generation. No, it's more of like an egoistic way or egoistic view of how work is being glorified right now, where you are working now to actually achieve more victorious, more glorious achievement in your life. And that is a very, very bad. It's not to say it's a bad thing, but it's a very abnormal way of thinking if you put it too much or too extreme in a degree. Yeah. So I would say in this current era right now that we are living, we do glorify hustling, but do you have the right goal for hustling? Like what I've just mentioned, legacy, yes, because legacy, you want to create something for your next generation and not only for your own self-fulfillment. So these are my points on glorified hustling because I was one of them. Or rather, I am one of them now, but to a certain degree. That's all from me.
Thanks, and it's great to know you're in much better shape right now, I trust. And Hanan, is there such a thing as hustle culture?
Uh, I believe yes. Yes. Not not only is like the old culture, but even now in modern life, we have this new culture that happen worldwide, like work hard, keep working, uh, uh, just push yourself to do more job. I see people who someone in their family maybe or a beloved one pass away, and after 2 day or next day they came to the work and they found it like powerful things. It's like just push yourself to give more. And nowadays, actually, it's become like if someone doesn't want to work more than 8 hours, or they have something in their life they want to have a rest, uh, they keep talking about them as a lazy people, or they don't do enough job. So I think this culture is, yes, it exists somehow. I get your point.
Yeah, and I trust that no matter how hard we hustle, there has to be some sort of rest we can take to refresh ourselves. And again, I would like to check with you, Hanan, since you mentioned as well. Do you have any guilty pleasures that help you unwind and maintain that balance?
Guilty pleasure. I think yes. Although I wasn't doing something fun. Yeah, as I said before, I was doing something else, not working to fulfill other needs. Like if if I'm just cooking some food that I like, I would receive a text from my colleagues to do something. Or if I found them working, I feel guilt. I feel guilt when I feel like someone else is doing a job and I'm trying to take care of myself and having fun and or relax. So this guilt, yes, exists sometimes, but we we s- we should have this control in our mindset. Like, don't blame ourselves too much. Even if it seemed like everyone do that, everyone is just give their life and time for the work. Uh, we should to keep ourselves safe and healthy as much as we can. Yeah.
Right. Thanks, Hanan. And how about you, Francis? Anything you would love to do? apart from work and all that hustling?
One of the favorite things that I love to do would actually be driving around aimlessly. I do travel around, especially on the weekends. For example, uh, this weekend I'll be flying off to KK for a friend's wedding, and the next weekend I will be going back to Kuching. Or if I'm not going anywhere far, I'll be driving around in Brunei and sometimes going down to Miri. So I do love driving around because it distresses myself. And the reason why I love driving around is because that's the only opportunity that I can listen to podcasts or even listen to music. Because as I would say, Limbang has a very small, not to say small roads, but a very short distance to one another. Okay. So one another thing that I would like to do uh, in my pastime would actually be lazing around, as I just mentioned in the chat as well. I do love laze around and do not think of anything. All right. Some people would actually mention that I have nothing else to do. I like to procrastinate, but no, it's not a procrastination. It's more of an unwinding time for myself. Because sometimes we do live life with all those buzzes in our ears, buzzes in our brain, in our mind. Sometimes we do not have the time to actually just sit down, stay still, and let the calmness overflows us. Perhaps with some Zen music, perhaps with just some silent sound, maybe with the sound of crickets as well. Yeah. So these are the things that actually the things that I love to do, my guilty pleasures, especially lazing around. That's all from me.
Right, that's it. Thank you. And that's interesting to know, coming to understand that you love dancing and at the same time you love Zen music as well. It's kind of contradicting but interesting at the same time. And next, we'd like to ask Hanan. Hanan, can you please share with us on your personal strategies of handling the the harmony between work-life balance?
Mhm. Uh, uh, One of the strategies that I found it useful is to first control the technological part as much as I can. So actually, after I go out of the work, I mute the group of the work. Like I try to separate. Now I finished job, so it's time to have fun. If I am holding the phone, I'm holding the phone to text my family, to text my friends, not to do job. So it's setting the boundary with yourself before you are setting the boundary with others. Other things that I've found it very useful is to train my mind to focus on one thing at the moment. So if it's I'm having fun right now, so I'm having fun right now. If I'm watching movie, I'm enjoying the movie. I will not hold the phone and try to finish a report or something. If I want to work, okay, so I'm doing my job. I will focus on that. Uh, I think uh, training yourself to focus on one thing give you more time uh, to relax. You feel like even the simple task that you do, like drinking coffee, just Francis mentioned, drinking coffee could help you to relax and chill for a while. If you just focus on this one thing. So you don't need to spend long time to find something that give you the pleasure or fulfill the fun need for you. Uh, the last thing is to forgive myself, to learn to forgive myself if I messed up from time to time. Yes, some days it's like 80% for work. Sometimes no, I will give work 30%. We have to be flexible and kind with ourselves in terms of this. So it's all about how we think toward ourselves and what's happened around us. So back to you, Prince.
Right. I like how you put it, Hanan. Being firm in making that decision and focus one thing at a time. And Francis, what words or advice can you offer our listeners here about achieving work-life balance?
My advice would actually be, what is your core value, or what do you want to achieve in your life? Because we would actually just share here and there about work-life balance, what you need to do. You need to just relax at home after you work, or perhaps you need to go to workout after you work, or 100% put your time into work. But sometimes all of these advices are not necessary uh, resonate to you, listeners out there. Perhaps one thing that I would like to say is, find out your core value or your goal in your life first. Then from there, plan out your work-life balance. Because work, sometimes you may need to put out more effort into it to create a legacy, like what I just mentioned earlier on. And your life could be the time you spend with your family after that. So there's no one cup fits all for everyone. So another thing that I would like to share, another advice I would like to share, is to set clear boundaries as well to people around your life. For myself, I do set my boundary with my colleagues, with my customers, and sometimes with my friends and my family members. I do need to have a me time as well. Because sometimes when we do live life, just going through life, we would eventually lost in life, lost in the busyness of life. So sometimes we still need to sit down and be still. Another thing would actually be to limit screen time as well as our phone time, because technology sometimes would distract us. Perhaps when you are being with your family, and sometimes when work calls, perhaps it's not that urgent, but that one minute second could affect your whole emotional range in your life when you are relaxing. Another would be communicate openly with your friends, your families, as well as your colleagues. Tell them your intention of having a work-life balance, because sometimes people will not understand. Why do you need to have your time to relax? Or why do you need to have a time for you to go and work out? Why do you need to have a time to actually go back home this early? Because sometimes people do not understand, because we ourselves live our own life. We ourselves looking out for our own. So here at the advice, what's your goal? How do you want to live? And how do you spin your coin, work and life, perfectly and in harmony? That's all from me.
Nice. I like how you put in the balance to that. And I like to I like a moment to hear from our audience again. So do you have any strategies that you personally use to balance your work and life? About Can we get an input from Elios? Are you there?
Yes, hello. I'm here.
Great.
Yes.
So, Elios, can you share if you have any strategies that you use to balance between work and life?
Oh, good. Yes, I do have, because sometimes life is not balanced. So I'm a professional juggler. Life and work is like a ball. You just need to juggle it every single day. And you need to become a professional at doing that. Just by having those balls not to drop on the floor. So you need to have those kind of mindset also, that in work, you as a professional, and in the life itself, you also a professional. Like if you are a husband, you are a professional husband, you serve your family, you serve your children, and you also serve your surrounding. It is not only a couple. There are children, there are parents-in-law, there are also the environment that needs us as supporters of the community. And in the works also, we are hired, we are paid to do our jobs. So we need to become a professional on that. We should give our best. Maybe we don't do love what we do, but we need to do it with love. Once you got it, the concept of love what you do, then you will enjoy it, every single thing. So if you are a husband, you will enjoy being a husband. If you're a professional in your work, you can also be enjoying it. And yes, there is no such thing as balance as it is, because life will balance. If you have learned about that, there are certain things on life that definitely not be in balance. And like we have 8, I forgot the all of 8 of them, but I remember about family, career, religion, community, and other 4 I forgot. But yes, anything that you do, love it. If you don't love it, still do it. Back to you.
Thank you, Elias, for your sharing. And yes, I do agree that balancing, having a harmony between work and life is not easy. But the first step to it is being aware that the intention, whether you want it or not. So we need to start from there. So once again, I'd like to thank you all, especially our speakers here for this evening, Hanan and Francis, for those enriching discussions. And also thank you to our audience for engaging with us today. Remember, work-life balance is a personal journey, and it's about finding what works best for you. And we hope today's episode inspires you to take steps towards a balanced and fulfilling life. So join us next time for another insightful session or discussion. So until then, keep striving for that work-life balance. And that's all from us. Good night.